Oh, we're live. Welcome, everyone.
Really?
Welcome to Mazecast.
Oh, see now it
Chat
says
show.
slow. Yeah.
That's sort of a standard beginning.
Yeah.
Today, we're Mazecast.
Alex promised that we would do a show reacting to some recently posted maze videos, but I think that Alex is the only one who watched more than one or
I watched 2 or 3.
I refuse to watch them on principle.
Mm-hmm.
The principle is laziness.
But we're going to try to sort of address a larger topic that sort of encompasses the same idea here. You know, we're just the question here is, why do people get so deep into stupid shit regarding maze? Like, really? Okay. Well, you don't want to be like too pejorative about it. But we've got Sarah here who's going to be useful to us because she believes some really stupid shit about maze, and unrepentantly. Like she's really dug her heels in about this stuff. And, she's not crazy or schizophrenic or stupid. So maybe can get some insight without going into any particulars that are offensive to any particular person about why people are so eager to believe things about maze that it seems like they wouldn't believe about any other book or any other puzzle, So, Sarah, could you just summarize for us, what are some of the stupidest things that you still think are true about maze?
I think I'm a better judge of what my stupid beliefs are. I don't even know which ones you think are more. Okay.
Well, which ones do you think are stupid?
Well, the beliefs that I have, I don't think that what I think is true about maze is stupid. I think it's okay. So how about the Sleeping Beauty one, which I really think is completely solid, and you think is crazy?
I'm not familiar with that one.
That's room 5. Is that a good example, Vincent, or should I find another one?
That's certainly a good example of something stupid. It's not the same kind of stupid that is kind of rampant in maze stuff, but maybe it's a fine place to start.
Okay, so I think it's an example of finding reference to something else in the book, which people do like to do, right?
Like Beethoven room.
Yeah, famously the Beethoven room. But so this one, room 5, we're all familiar with room 5, which is one of the connector rooms on the path. It's not on the shortest path, but it's part of the path. What?
We all know how the book works. Just start telling us about how this is about Sleeping Beauty.
Now, I noticed the doors have numbers above them.
Yes, that's true, Diane. I'm not going to go into that now. People can watch some of our foundational videos for that kind of information. Like and subscribe. No, so my idea about this one is that it represents Sleeping Beauty, and the elements that are Sleeping Beauty-ish in here are the weird twisty trees, which to me look like briars, and they've got pointy stuff on the top. And there's like a castle looking thing on one of the doors with moons on it, and it looks like there's something kind of surrounding it. You can't really tell what that is, but there's something sort of surrounding this castle. And then you have this rose or a flower on the ground, and when you look up briar rose, which is a certain kind of rose that grows on these kinds of climbing vines, it looks a lot like that. It looks a lot like that flower. And briar rose is the name of Sleeping Beauty in the original story. Or I guess it was the Grimm's version. I don't know. I should have looked this up before.
Well, in fairness to you, you didn't know that you were going to have to talk about this.
Yeah, I didn't know. I was not prepared, but that's okay. So that's like, those are the basic elements. There's some stuff in the text, mostly the thing about, are these real? So talking about fairy tales, things that are real, and talking about, there's something about, let me remind me. Well, I sort of thought the very long, dark corridor, thinking about the 100 years of sleep. I don't know. That's my idea. So my thought was that the theme was Sleeping Beauty, that was what his idea was when he was making this room. and that the rose is beside either of the two good doors.
So, I mean, like, how do you talk any sense into somebody who believes something like that? That's the difficulty that we've got.
Well, so I actually think I'm sort of in a position in between you two here.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
So I think it is possible that there was some Sleeping Beauty inspiration here, in that Manson, drawing up this room, might have thought of like these sort of thorn-like trees and the castle and the rose coming together because of his familiarity with that old story. I mean, this doesn't relate to the puzzles of the book, that's pretty clear, but it seems possible that when Manson was thinking about what elements I can throw together for this illustration, maybe he thinks about, okay, I've drawn these trees, hey, they look kind of thorny, a little like briars. I'll put a castle in here that kind of fits the general feel of the room. I think it's possible that Sleeping Beauty is part of why these things felt right in combination to him. I don't think this has significance beyond that. I don't think we're going to come up with like a sequence of fairy tales for each room and have it be important that this one's the Sleeping Beauty step.
So let me ask you, if you're sort of thinking it's possible that he thought about that as a theme for this room, do you say, you stop short that there's some kind of solution element to it? Yes. But then what do you say to we've got the rose and it happens to be beside the two right doors? Like, is that just random, or would he have done that on purpose?
I would say random. I think, Sarah is muted, but for our listeners, and Vincent, if you're still there and haven't left in disgust, right. I think that, supposing that his choice of how to draw this room was influenced by Sleeping Beauty, that could just as easily be the case with a rose next to the right door or a wrong door or anywhere. Also, I'm not sure that flower is actually a rose, but that's not too important.
Well, it certainly doesn't look like a rose. It's I guess maybe in some general sense looks like a briar rose, and that
it looks a lot like a briar rose.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't
look like a generic rose to me. That I don't know. I don't really know what briar roses specifically look like. If that's a different thing,
it is a different. I'm going to look it up.
Maybe they do look like this.
We have the technology to show this. So and I have bad news.
Example of a rose.
I have bad news, guys. I have to leave.
It's a little wilted. It's been.
Oh, Sarah has to leave in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I can keep the thing running, and then
I think we've actually settled this topic, though. We started with these two positions about whether this is the Sleeping Beauty room, and I've synthesized them into the truth.
Okay, now wait. Yeah. What was Vincent's rebuttal to this? Because I don't think we've convinced him, have we?
Rebuttal? Well, I mean, Diane's point is, it's possible that he was thinking of that, and I mean, I guess that's true. I agree with that in the same sense that, maybe he was thinking of that. Maybe he was thinking of a tree grows in Brooklyn. Maybe he was thinking of like an illustration on a family tree that he had hanging on his wall. Maybe his neighbor had trees that look like this. I mean, it's a possibility.
None of those things explain the castle and the rose as well at the same time.
I don't think this really explains that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a better fit if instead of trees, it was actual briars.
Are you guys looking at this briar rose that I'm showing you?
Yeah, no, that looks closer to the drawing of the book than the rose I was looking at does.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's not. I don't know. I'm not sure how you would draw the flower here to make it really obvious that's a briar rose specifically. This could.
Well, Diane, I have to stop you there. This is the world's hardest puzzle. Nothing is supposed to be obvious.
I don't see how it is like in favor of your point that he did not draw briars and then there's a flower that looks sort of like a briar rose. If he wants that, why wouldn't he draw briars? These are not
briar-ish. Okay,
What do you mean
but
brightish? These are trunks.
they're very
These are trees.
twisty. They're twisty. It's like a very thick, old thicket, And if you've watched the Disney Sleeping Beauty, they look a lot like this, actually.
Yeah, they have thorns on them in that. Big thorns because
There's
they're
thorns at the
bright.
top.
I don't think those are
not
thorns.
Those are not thorns.
So far away.
No, branches do not end in little points like that. Those are thorns, and they're sneaky.
Look,
It's subtle.
No, these are all planted.
Thorns. Like, the branches terminate in a single thorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but branches don't terminate that way. I mean,
These are weird-looking trees.
yeah.
No, these have been pruned down.
They've been
Obviously,
pruned. They have been cut down by the prince.
what? And look, these are all these trees are.
I forgot that part. It actually explains that as well, because in the Disney Sleeping Beauty, he comes with a sword and he chops off all the branches.
Yeah, all the branches. They look just like this. It's like this image was taken right out of the movie.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look anything like the movie.
Well, Manson drew it. He has a different style.
No, these are not vines. These are not creeping vines with thorns coming off them. These are tree trunks.
Yeah, like
that have been planted in even rows. This is like an arboretum. This is like a.
I could see this being drawn by somebody who is kind of thinking of Sleeping Beauty in the back of his mind. I can't see this being drawn by somebody who wanted to draw the Sleeping Beauty room as an important step of his puzzle.
Well, I don't think that, there's some kind of sequence in which it's important that this is Sleeping Beauty. I don't think that. I do not think that.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
Stevenson is not that crazy.
No, this is.
Okay, well, we've got about 1 minute to wrap up here, friends, and then we'll have to be continued.
So,
all right, here's the conclusion I draw.
What do you think?
Let's hear it.
All right, so here's why people believe this stupid shit. It's because they get reinforcement from people like Diane, who try to find some diplomatic way to suggest this isn't the dumbest thing on earth by saying, yeah, it's possible that Manson was thinking about this when he drew the room, which is obvious but also meaningless. And so Sarah goes away thinking that she's been partly vindicated here, when in reality, every other person on earth knows that this is fucking ridiculous.
White Raven liked it.
Good night, everybody. Glad you could be here. This is the best episode of Mazecast we've ever done. We're so glad you could join us for it. See you again in another fucking year.
Let us know what you think about Room 5. Is it the Sleeping Beauty room? Who's right? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe.
Bye, everybody.